today it baffles me. I'm a bit taken aback as to what the problem is. Are we being emotional about some of these things? The investment of assets that state has interest in did not start today. We have seen major state assets being divested. At a point where we had a DIC and all of that, we've gone through all those processes for one reason or the other. With this, oh brother, when you were speaking, I was here. I was seated here. Please. This particular transaction, I tend to ask myself, is the problem with SSNIT? Is the problem with the potential buyer? Is the problem with the process? And I'm not too sure.
Organized labor, they speak about two things.
I am not too sure.
They speak about process and who the person is.
Okay.
Or the position the person holds.
The position, okay, let me take it from the position the person holds. I don't think there's anything wrong. Anything wrong. Because the same constitution that Broda referred to, Article 78, Article 98, gives processes that a minister or a member of parliament can go through and still hold an office for profit. And once you go through those processes, they are very...
He hasn't, and it's part of his...
Or maybe, I don't know the processes or the data or whatever information available to Honorable Ablakwa. But if I have interest in this asset, until it's acquired, I cannot go to the speaker to say that I have acquired this asset and henceforth going forward, I'm going to be CEO of such an entity. Not until the transaction is completed. No. What I'm saying is that if I am going to the speaker to apply to be the CEO of ABC company, I must have had ABC company before I go ahead.
Yes. So if I have a registered company,
I
have a registered company, the law enjoins me to seek permission from the speaker to continue acting as a director or shareholder of the company. So if I have not done that, have I offended the law?
If he has not done that, and so I mean, Honorable Ablakwa is saying this. I'm not too sure what the situation is with Honorable Brian Echampo, whether he's actually done that filing and he's appeared before the committee.
I'm just saying that that's the claim by Honorable Ablakwa.
But my point is that
he relies on documents from Parliament.
My point is that there is a process. It is not untoward. It is not untoward for a member of Parliament or a minister to hold an office for profit. It is not untoward. Processes has to take place. And once those processes are complete, there's nothing wrong with it. So the fact that he's buying and his hotel is acquiring this interest in these assets, it's nullified. The other point Broja made was that...
What nullifies it?
That it's untoward for him to hold an office for profit. He needs to go through processes, and once those processes are complete, there's nothing wrong with him holding an office.
The petitioner is that has not been done. I
am not too sure. You see, there's a committee in Parliament that determines all of that.
Yes.
There's a committee.
Yes.
I'm not too sure about the information available to Honorable Ablakwa. I am not to hold an office of profit, so far as the processes that he has to go through are done. The other point Brother made was that Rock City started in 2019, and that this whole process started in 2018. In 2018, the processes that started was the identification and the engagement of a transaction advisor. At that point, Rock City didn't need to have shown an interest, not until EOI or RFPs were invited from potential people who were potentially interested. So that point as well it's moot. My big worry about this is that SSNIT has a board. I think it's but I checked. The labor. I'm also a contributor to SSNIT. I check my status quite often, so I know that I'm qualified for a pension at this point. I started working longer. You know, order. See, it's good that SSNIT has reps on the board. But you see, when... Labor. Okay, Labor has reps on the SSNIT board. That's the right rendition. And in the whole process, they have had and raised issues that they claim have not been acceded to. I'm wondering what those issues are. Maybe in the presser, he should have come out to say whether it was the whole process that they were not happy with, whether it was evaluation. But to say that because it is going to a minister or... What
said was that their reps said that they have raised issues and that they asked for the process to be halted.
Halted?
Yes.
They might have had reasons.
But they realized that despite the issues they raised at the board and asked for the process to be halted, SSNIT is still going on ahead with the project.
You see, they had gone further on to say that one of the problems they had, or the issues they had, was the potential buyer, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't attributed to their reps on the board.
They had issues with the process.
Labour doesn't have an issue with what you are talking about.
The board, their reps on the board had issues with the transaction.
Yes.
The TUC Secretary General
has
told us that he has issue with a potential buyer.
Yes. They said they have,
but we cannot put the two together and say maybe the reps on the board had issues with a potential buyer.
No, I'm just saying.
Remember that this whole potential buyer.
Chief, I'm just saying that let's be careful.
See,
the TUC boss didn't say that their reps had an issue with a potential buyer.
Okay.
It could well be that they did, but that's not what he said.
See,
with what we played. So.
Thankfully, once upon a time, I had the opportunity to go through some of those international competitive tendering processes. And I can tell you, the processes are so detailed that not until the end of the process, you will not even know who the potential buyer is. And so for you to have been part of the process, only at a point where probably it comes out who the potential buyer is, then you begin to have issues. I don't know. The exact issues that they have, I'm not too privy to it because he thinks that they need audience with the president to discuss some of these issues. But what I want to say is that, look, per the explanation given by SSNIT, where they started off to get a transaction advisor, at the point that they did an EOI expression of interest or the response for proposals, RFP, I think that what I've seen so far, the process has been transparent. And it shouldn't be because it is Brian Echampo. What if it was Brother Jemfi? I mean, why should Brother Jemfi qualify as a Ghanaian?
My name is Broja.
Broja Jemfi. He qualifies to acquire an interest in a state asset, but Fuseini should not. I mean, I cannot reconcile those two positions because who's a political office, the political offices are not perpetual. It will come to and at one point in time. So if I have the privy and I have the capacity to acquire interest in what is a transparent international process, I really finding it very difficult to reconcile the position of Labour. Maybe the issues the TUC Secretary General is talking about, because I'm not privy to, I cannot. But you see, when I started off my working life in 1999, after I finished university, the company I worked with was in the communication workers. And given my political activism on the campus of Lagos, when I got into that company, I unionized the labor. And so I joined the Communication Workers Union then. And I tell you, the trade union, I have an idea of how they themselves operate. I'm not impugning any, but you see, what I'm saying is that, look, labor, if there are issues, let's discuss those issues. Let's ensure that this process is transparent and every Ghanaian has a fair opportunity at acquiring those interests. And remember, we are talking about majority stakes in there. And for me, my personal experience with some of these facilities, I think that divesting those interests, getting somebody who has a capacity to run them. Look, Ghana has gotten to a point where the Zema in Ghana is, and the lack of hotel rooms perpetually has been one of the issues in this country. We don't even have enough rooms. The cost per room in Accra is so high. It's just time for us to push beyond our tourism industry. And those are very basic things that we should address.
You know what?
In Ghana, I know that you have a very good experience when it comes to running this.
Hotel prices?
Oh, I know you have a very good
21 taxes and levies.
You have a very good experience. Yeah. And so for me to pay that amount, I need to have the utility of the money that I'm paying. Because I not too long ago, I was in Cape Coast. I used a limit. I compared to what I used to see 18 years ago. I thought that something drastic had to be done to save that facility. La Palm, Labadi. I mean, from where they used to be and where they are today, I think that it's a very good attempt.
We should even check how a place like La Palm has been managed, especially in the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, you can decide to say 6 or 7 years. I might want to even go 20 years.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that because it's a facility that I used perhaps 10 years ago, 11 years ago, and I knew what it was.
Yes, of course. When those facilities came up,
and the issue of regeneration and all that, and those who had the opportunity of appointing people to manage this, who did they appoint there? Was it deliberate?
We knew where,
and make a case to sell them.
Oh, please, come on.
No, it's a question I'm asking.
Randy.
I'm asking those questions because if those people owned those facilities, some of the people they appointed, they would not do that.
So you agree with me that we are at a point. And even before I finish, the ILO research that they did on the SSNIT fund, I think SSNIT has come out to respond. It is not the fund that is used to pay. It's some of these things, returns from some of these investments. So when the investment committee or whatever of SSNIT is realizing that, look, the returns we are making on our investments, it's not something that can sustain our fund over time. It is time to take some of these drastic actions to ensure that SSNIT is making an arm's length returns on its investments to be able to make the funds sustainable.
Okay, all right. So that's easier spoken.
So we shouldn't really be emotional about this just because.
I'm not sure that he was being emotional.
No. I'm not referring particularly to.
I find something interesting.
I want us to finish a process that is transparent enough, and the matter is the Yoko. I'm sure that it will come out.